You know, I'm just thinking, I'm sitting here producing some artwork, one for a leaflet, one for an advert. The leaflet, you know, like I'll print it off as many as I want, full colour, and I was thinking to myself, doesn't seem a lot long ago I was a printer and someone would set up type, because it was lead type, so someone would set up the type and that would take them hours if not days, and then I would get it in a steel frame and I'd stick it in a printing machine and it'd take me ages setting the machine up, and then trial and error to get the thing to print all evenly across the page. And then I would run it off, printing it one sheet at a time, you know. Okay, it was faster than the printers that I've got in the house, but still the process, I mean, certainly most jobs, a business card would take a day. It would take the compositor half a day to set it up, and then I would get it and it would take me half a day, you know, certainly a few hours to set the machine up and print it. Whereas now, I mean, I can print stuff anything from like 10 minutes to, well, sometimes if it's really complex, it might take half a day or maybe a day to set it up and print it off dead easy. Stuff that would have taken, well, full colour certainly. In letterpress printing, each colour had to be printed individually, so it was a 4-colour process. So the job would be printed once for the yellow, once for the blue, once for the red, and then once for the black. It could take days, sometimes weeks, to do some jobs that I can sit here and do in a fraction of the time. So technology has just made things so much easier. And I'm just thinking, no wonder my printing business went out of business. And so many printers like me had to change their job to something else. Let me show you some of the stuff that I used to do. I've got some footage here. This is a compositor setting out type, and as you can see, it's picking out individual letters made of lead out of a case and putting them in lines. They're obviously reading back to front, and he sets out line after line to create page after page. Once the page is made, or the pages, they're put into a metal frame, and he puts in spacers and then jams the pages into the frame so that the printer can pick it up and put it in the machine. This is a Heidelberg Platin printing machine. This is what I served my time on, or at least about the first year and a half. And on this I printed business cards, menus, leaflets, letterheads, all that kind of stuff, to learn the craft. And you can see lots of moving parts, things that you can trap your fingers in. This big main platen bit here that crushes the paper against the type. Got your hand caught in there, severe injuries. Spinning wheels, moving parts. This is another machine that I used, a vertical melee. Again, this was quite dangerous. It had just lots of unguarded moving parts, and people did get their hands trapped in this. Fingers lost, sometimes hands lost. Fortunately, not me. Later on I moved on to the Heidelberg cylinder, a much bigger machine. That's me there checking the work, and I printed books, magazines, newspapers, again lots of moving parts. The temptation when the paper started to go wonky was you try to grab it while the machine was still moving. so easy to take hands off. This is me checking the log again. It's excellent, of course. This bit's guarded, but that was the only bit the machine was guarded. Eventually, when health and safety got stronger, they did come in and put more guards on the machines. Again, moving parts, big prongs, pushing the paper out. This is Civic Press. This is a place that I served my time. I started there in 1964 and stayed there for 4 years until I finished my apprenticeship. I went back years later though and stayed there for 8 years until it closed down. This is a machine room. Roller printing machines. This is me feeding paper into the machine. And this is where we made tea. This is the cooker, the old fashioned gas cooker. That's my gaffer Jimmy. Look at it, it's the pits. But this is what the workers were expected to put up with. This is where we ate our tea, our lunch, tea breaks, in among the ink, the dust and the lead type. In comparison, the office staff had different surroundings completely. This is my gaffer Jimmy trying out the boardroom. As you can see, plush panelled walls, beautiful round table. This is Bill, one of the typesetters operating a linotype machine. And this is George. Fond memories. These guys operate a keyboard attached to a machine like this. And every time they hit a key, a brass mould would drop into the machine and get filled with lead, and it would create lines of type, which is why it's called a linotype machine. Eventually they announced they were going to close the factory, and as the shop steward, the FOC, I campaigned to try and keep the factory open. This is STV news crew interviewing me. They did put a pretty good piece on STV News for me. But it did nothing to help save the factory. It did close down in September 1981. This is me about age 32, just before the factory closed down. Bit of a hippie, as you can see. It was great times and I'm really glad I had that life. However, I'm also glad that it stopped, because otherwise I wouldn't be in the film and television now. Turned out good in the end.